Well, hi everybody. It's Kevin.
And I'm Ralph, the voice behind the camera, and welcome back to the homey little up north cottage we love to share with you. Cottage season is in full swing.
It sure is. So welcome, food friends. This is Cavalcade of Food. And we are getting ready to do a little baking this morning. We have a special occasion tonight. Our dear friend Kurt is having let's just say it's a milestone birthday. All right, we won't give out an age, but
God willing, we'll all be there someday.
Exactly. I think he remembers when Harry Truman was president. So, anyways, but we're gonna all go out for a nice dinner tonight in Port Huron, and then we're gonna have birthday cake back here. And I wanted to do something a little different because it's late spring, and in Michigan, late spring is rhubarb season. And we've done a lot of rhubarb stuff on Cavalcade of Food, I know.
We love our rhubarb.
We love rhubarb. You're absolutely right, Ralph. We love our rhubarb. And so I made a really nice rhubarb sauce where I just cooked down a bunch of rhubarb and some sugar, and it's sweet and it's tart, and it'll be a wonderful warm sauce. And I thought, well, what kind of cake can I put that over? And we thought, pound cake. So we're going to make a coconut pound cake.
To be covered with the rhubarb sauce.
Yep, we'll serve it with a nice rhubarb sauce over it, and maybe even a little ice cream.
And we're being joined today by the Bee Gees from a record we found for real cheap recently called Cucumber Castle. So we're talking coconuts, cucumbers, rhubarb, all kinds of fun things today.
So the first thing we're going to do for our pound cake here, let's look at our ingredients. We've got flour, sugar, butter, eggs, milk, vanilla, lemon extract, a little salt, and of course, can't have coconut pound cake without some coconut. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something that we often do when we're starting a cake. We're going to cream together the butter and the sugar, okay? So I got 2 sticks of butter in here that I've had out for an hour and a half or so. They're nice and soft at room temperature.
And that equals what?
2 sticks is 1 cup of butter, okay? And I'm using unsalted butter, by the way. And then I got 2 cups of sugar, so let's put that in there, okay? So now we'll come over to our mixer and we're going to cream this together. And we'll get that started. I'll get myself a little spatula here. So we talk about creaming, and this is really, this is really combining, and yeah, you got to watch your speed. We're combining the butter and sugar, making it one. Okay, and so it kind of goes through stages. So here, this is kind of the lumpy stage.
And if you don't have a nice KitchenAid mixer, you can do it with what?
Well, you could do this. You could certainly use a hand mixer if that's what you have.
Okay.
If you really got some good muscles, you can do this by hand. But a stand mixer or even a hand electric mixer makes it much easier. Okay, now it's kind of coming out of its lumpy stage, and it's going to start getting into its creaming stage. So this is going to take another minute, so we're going to let it do its thing. In the meantime, I'm going to measure out my flour. So this is just a bunch of flour that I sifted, okay, Ralph? And the recipe calls for 3 cups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out 3 cups. How do we measure flour? We spoon it into the cup, okay? Some people just scoop it out, and you can do that, but it really has, when you scoop, it compacts the flour, and you don't get as true of a measure, okay? So there's 1 cup. Like I said, you could do this, and you would say, well, that would save time. It would, but
it's not as accurate.
It's not as accurate. We're going to spoon, and then we level, okay?
That's a nice little baking tip I never really knew or paid attention to, I guess.
So here we got 2 cups. And I just want to check on our, oh yeah, I'm going to shut that off. We'll come back and show the folks. So before I forget, let's get our last cup here. We want 3 cups of flour. That's our measure. So This is how my mom always said you had to do it, and I know that a lot of, she was a real baker, and a lot of other bakers have said the same thing. So
Kevin learned a lot at his mom's knee, didn't you?
Absolutely. So there's our 3 cups. Come on over here and let's show everybody see how fluffy it looks. All
sure
creamed
does.
up. Okay. So that's good to go.
Yep.
Are now in the next step here. I'm cracking the eggs here and putting them in a bowl. There's 5 eggs, and you need to add them one at a time. And I find it's just easier to put all the eggs in a bowl, and kind of then I can just sort of drop them in one at a time. Okay? So we're going to come over back to our mixer. All right, so remember, we got our butter and we got our sugar cream together. And you know what? Let's remember, we scrape down our bowl here. And now we're going to add our eggs one at a time. And so every time we add an egg here, let the spatula help us out, you want to really mix that in well, okay? So
you kind of do one at a time to make
one at a time
in there good.
And let it go for long enough. This mixer really mixes things quickly. So we're going to put our second egg in.
I think 2 went in.
No, because you got 3. See, let the yolks be your counter, okay?
Let the yolks be your guide.
Exactly.
That's no
so
yolk.
Now we'll put one more in. So there's our 3rd egg.
They say don't put all your eggs in one basket.
But you can put all your eggs in one bowl here.
In one bowl, and then one by one into the creamed butter and sugar.
Just kind of scrape.
Getting a lot of hand there. It's hard to get an angle, but people get the idea.
Here,
go ahead. Keep
So let me get our next one in. That's our 4th egg. I'm going to turn this up to turbo here a little bit and get that mixed in. And then finally our 5th egg. In it goes. Okay. And we're going to do a scrape. Get all that incorporated here. Pound cakes are just such a great, really old-fashioned anymore. People don't have pound cakes very often. I think more so in the South. Remember when we were in North Carolina last year? We made a pound cake with Hans.
Yeah, Hans. Oh, that was so good.
And it is
so buttery.
Up north here, eastern Michigan, it's not that people don't like pound cakes. We just don't make them very often. So we thought we'd make an old-fashioned cake for an old-fashioned birthday boy here today. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is wash that butter off my hand. We're going to put the salt in with the flour. Okay, so you want a 1/2 teaspoon salt. Okay, I'm going to mix that in. It's just table salt, and then we're going to kind of whisk it in with the flour. I already put the flour through a sifter, and now I'm just going to...
That guarantees fluffiness?
Yes. So what we're going to do now is we've got our egg, butter, sugar mixture, which is sort of our wet. Okay, and now we're going to have our base. Now we're going to have this is our flour, our dry, and our milk. And we're going to do them alternately. All right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's come on back to our mixer. So we're going to start with a little flour.
So mixer on low speed, flour going in a bit at a time.
Got it. Then put a little milk in here, and then you can see the bowl is going to need to be pretty much scraped. regularly after each kind of alternate
yeah,
addition
of
here.
course.
You want to get all that down there. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do. You're going to add your flour, your milk, your flour, your milk, your flour, your milk, until everything's in, okay?
Alrighty.
And I'll finish doing this, and then we'll come back.
Sounds
so
good.
here it is.
All the eggs.
The flour alternately with the milk. So
The
here's
milk.
our basically
That's your
our
batter.
batter. Okay. Now there's a question of adding in all the other stuff that will actually make this a coconut pound cake.
So if you stopped right here, it would just be a pound cake?
Right. But you'd want to put a flavoring in.
Of course,
okay, maybe just vanilla, or you could do lemon, you could do orange, you could do almond. You could throw poppy seeds in here if you wanted to and do a lemon poppy seed. But this is a cup and a half of flaked
coconut.
sweet coconut. Okay, so that's in there. Now we are going to use a couple of flavorings. We're going to use a little vanilla, and we're going to use some lemon extract, okay? So we're going to put in a half a teaspoon.
And the lemon isn't to make it lemony, it's just to brighten the other flavors, right?
Exactly. So here's a half a teaspoon of vanilla.
You could go more if you wanted.
You could. And then I'm going to put in a teaspoon of lemon extract here.
Okie doke.
Okay. Now we've got everything in. Let's give it one last mix around here. Get it all in there.
Yeah, I can smell the coconuts coming to life because of the coconut flakes, but also the other
flavorings,
aromas or scents and oils, whatever they are, flavorings are bringing it out. You can see how they work together.
So let's scrape,
Scrape, scrape, scrape.
scrape, and then we're gonna. I'll put it on a slow mix here just to make sure everything's good and incorporated. We'll get our pan ready. I'm using a tube pan. This is actually a springform kind of a tube pan. You could use a regular tube pan. Some people call it an angel food pan, but this is what I'm going to use. You want to grease and flour your pan. Now what I'm doing is I'm using a baking spray that has oil and flour mixed together already. So it's just a step saver, but you could, if you
Certainly
don't have
do it the old-fashioned way.
You can do it the old-fashioned way.
Grandma didn't have that.
No, she didn't. Okay, but I do, and I'm using it. Okay.
And speaking of preparation, the stove I see I can feel actually is
At 325.
getting ready for the baking part.
Yep, we've preheated it to 325.
Okay, I
And-
can't see a thing.
I'm gonna get our. What's this now?
Nothing. I'm going to let folks know that we have moved into the, what do they call it? Countrypolitan sounds of Skeeter Davis.
Oh, yeah.
And
What was that big song she had?
it's the end of the world, I
End
think.
of the World, yes.
We also have Owen Bradley's production of Brenda Lee up on deck. But yeah, these are records we found real cheap recently, and we always like to play our current and recent treasures.
We love to cook and eat and listen to music.
And
So
now that
talk
cottage-
about all the pleasures of life.
Yeah,
Okay.
simple pleasures. So, oh boy. So what is the technique you're using here called? Flop and drop?
Yeah. Well, trying not to spill over too much.
Is there something you want to tell folks about how you're doing, just kind of moving around in a circle with
Yeah, I'm just trying to get once the
scraper?
batter's in, I'll kind of even it out.
So basically you just need to be careful getting it into that spring-loaded pan because of the shape. And you're
Well, it's 'cause
using...
it's got a hole in the middle.
Right, and you're using a spatula and just kind of moving around
Yeah.
carefully to get it in, and as you said, you can even it out once it's all kind of in there.
And I know I got it on the side, so all right, we'll get it. I'm never going to score points for being a clean cook.
Well, we hate those cake wars shows anyway. They take the fun out of baking.
You know, here's the thing. I do keep the kitchen clean, and I'm a firm believer in cleaning as you go.
It's a clean team.
And
just like what's her name, Tracy?
Just like Tracy Turnblad, right? But okay. So now that I think I've got pretty much all the batter in here, we're gonna just sort of shimmy this around. See?
Some jiggle jaggle.
And that kind of gets it kind of evened in.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So now again, our oven. I'm gonna try to clean the sides here just because it'll make it easier to get the finished product out. 325 degrees for 1.5 hours. An hour and 30 minutes, and then we'll come on back and get it out, and we'll have our wonderful coconut. All right, we're going to remove this. Now, this tube pan is what they call a spring form, where it actually, Ralph, kind of opens up. In this case, it's got this little clip that comes off, okay? And then, see that?
Oh.
It opens up like that.
I was going to ask you what that was all about. Okay, so cool.
So it's kind of a nice feature.
So otherwise you would have to be
it's still hot.
Otherwise you'd have to be turning it upside down and jiggling it out and all that.
Yeah. Now.
Still pretty hot.
Whoop, there we go.
Boy, it does make
There
noise.
we go. Now it's out. So there it is. Now there, of course, it has the bottom part on here. So what we'll do when it's fully cooled is I'll flip it onto a plate and then back. Okay, to get it right side up. But there is our beautiful coconut pound cake. Look how just nicely browned it is, and very pleased with how it came out. And I cannot wait to stick a couple candles in there, right? And we'll wish Kurt a happy birthday.
And try it with some rhubarb sauce.
With rhubarb sauce and vanilla ice cream, I think it'll be outstanding.
So what you doing?
Well, I'm going to plate the cake. It's completely cooled now, okay? So I'm just going to go around the inner tube here with a thin knife. Now we're going to get under it, see? We're just going to go...
Just kind of slide it easily through.
Mm-hmm. Just slide it through. So this is why we grease and flour our pan, okay? All right, so...
God willing, and the creek don't
rise,
rise,
the barn don't burn.
It'll turn over nicely, right?
All right, yes. So we're gonna flip. Okay. Look at that.
Wow.
Then it's sort of upside down.
It looks nice like that.
Should I leave it like that? If you wanted it bumpy side up,
can we see how it would look the other way?
Yeah, sure, just like this.
Yeah, that's more.
This is more natural.
Yeah. But if you're gonna do some kind of crazy frosting on it, maybe you could do it the other way, or maybe if you wanted a smoother surface for some reason. But that looks good.
There it is. So
here we are.
We had an awesome time putting this together. Hope you had a great time being with us for our coconut pound cake. And you know what? We'll see you next time right here on Cavalcade of Food. Bye, everybody.